So, I mean, let's bring. So Justin is my longtime friend. Fucking, we met at Cash America. How many years ago was that? Was that 2 years ago now?
It's probably like maybe March 2019.
Yeah, because I remember I bought this 20 channel mixer that we're recording on right now from that same Cash America, and I got offered the job, and that's how I got.
Well, I asked you. I was like, hey man,
Yeah,
because
you did. That was you.
I
Yeah.
promoted my podcast, and then you were like, oh, I also do stuff, and I went really, and then you pulled out the PunkBordello, a little card,
Yeah, it was
your business card.
the fucking one that I made on Snapchat.
Yeah, I still have that card. Um,
I have another one to give you actually.
and then yeah, so you started working there, and it was fun. I remember they pressured you to pick either there or Starbucks, and you were just like, why not both?
I mean, let's see. It wasn't even that. It was really just that like they didn't offer health insurance within the first 90 days, and Starbucks insurance. There's a reason why I was there for 3 years.
Mm.
You know, so like I I had like the benefits and like the reason I was able to get like the glasses that I still currently use was because of Starbucks's in like health insurance.
Mm.
You know, because they cover medical, dental, and vision. And like, believe me, you really don't end up making shit like shit at the end of the month. And I mean, especially at that kind of point in time, I was like living off of the waste, um, like like on a regular basis. Like I would oftentimes be like in the red by the end of the month.
Jesus.
So I mean, it didn't pay shit, but the health benefits were something that I needed to stick with at the time. So and I mean like Cash America wasn't the only place that couldn't cut it because Hotel Zaza did the same thing, where they tried to phase me in. They basically tried to haze me into, working for them, and it's just like. At least at Starbucks, I was able to work when I needed to. If I
Right.
had to have like a certain kind of day off, I was able to make that happen pretty relatively easily.
See, I think that it wasn't the fault of management. I think it was they didn't know uh, the best way to manage everyone's schedule at once. Because Victor's able to
And that
kind of do that,
happens.
but at the same time, I feel like in the climate that we were at that point, we were trying to deal with massive growth because it was before COVID by like a year and a half.
Right.
So they wanted a full staff. So to have someone come on and be like, hey, I can only do this, and I'm kind of not part time, but like I only have certain time slots. I think that's what stressed him out. But at the same time, like, you know, I think you got a couple of good networking,
Yeah.
connections through it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's it's the past, and you're in a much better place now.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean,
I mean, literally, physically and emotionally.
yeah.
So
I'm really happy about that. I mean, like, it's it's really like it's like more money, more problems. Like yeah, I pay far like literally twice as much in rent as I did back in those days now, but it's I have everything that I need. The reason why I was able to go out and you know buy the car that I bought today was because I have everything here. Like this was first priority when I got to Austin. Was I mean for everybody who can't see, like I basically we're recording this in my what is supposed to be a bedroom area. So I've got my drums set up and mic'd up right to my right, and then I have my fucking
you can never say
four
this
guitars and
man.
two basses.
You can never say that this man doesn't work his ass off. Literally, every single person that talks to me about Corey, within the first 5 seconds of the conversation, his work ethic comes up, and just the level of grind and the ingenuity and the dedication. And I've seen it. I've seen you do it. I came over. We actually were gonna do one of my podcasts, and I walked in as you were recording, and you're like, "Hold on, man," and you literally just did like a full lick on the bass, like playing along to yourself, and yeah, and then you messed up at one point, and you're like, "Got to do the whole thing over again." I was like, "Really?" And you're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Dude, you can't just go." He's like, "Nope." He's like, I'd know. So
Yeah.
like even like the ability to not want to cut corners, and just literally do it right.
I mean, okay, so that actually brings me to a talking point. So, um, to preface this for everybody who's listening right now, I'm currently working. I'm releasing Pipe Dreams right now, volumes 1 and 2, and I am also in the middle of recording the next album after that, Haven Sweet Haven. So I try to work like a year in advance at this point now. The hardest part was taking 2 to 3 years to put what I considered my best shit out there, right? And that's like 20 songs, and it's gonna be like I mean, it's gonna be it's a catalog. It's something for people to look back and reference every time I put something else that's new out. Um, and the hardest part about that was just getting all of the content because I was initially, I mean, like, I appreciate what you said about the grind, but it is really absolutely like what you need to do. And what was harder than getting those songs out and fleshing them out was getting stuff that I'm proud of out. Because I remember, like, especially before COVID happened, I hit up a couple of open mic nights every time I thought I had some magic. And that's anytime I write a new song, I'm super fucking excited about it. And the hardest part about, making new music is keeping it under wraps. So, I would go and, show people, and like sometimes I would just watch their facial reaction because nobody wants to tell you that they're not really into that sound or into that song, you know? So it's like reading the body language. And I noticed that a lot of the songs that I'd already recorded were they just didn't cut it. They didn't do it. Like, it wasn't the reaction that I wanted. And so when I was in the middle of the, whether it was an open mic or, just showing somebody the song and how it's come along so far, I would kind of look at that and be like, I got to scrap it. I got to try something else because this isn't working. And that's the hardest part about it, in terms of like just being critical enough of yourself to let go of your ego and not put that out because it's not your best shit. And I mean, lo and behold, every single one of these songs that I'm putting out right now from Pipe Dreams, I have absolute 100% faith. The reason all of them are being marketed as singles right now is because I see them all able to stand on their own as singles. Especially considering songs that like Apex that is about to come out. The reason it's called Apex is because it's the apex of my instrumental capabilities, at least at that time. And what's funny about that is that song, I originally had it, and I originally played it on a 6 string, and then I re-recorded it later on a 7 string. And both of those times, I only had one opportunity to record the drums. So the first time, I basically had to. There was like a really shitty overtone on the floor tom, so that one right there, and it was resonating so bad that you could hear it throughout the mix. And with this mixer, you only have about one fucking chance, because it's not like an interface where each microphone is controlled individually on a track and you record 7 tracks at once. No, 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 my friend. You have to mix everything perfectly in that first, and then it comes out as one track in your computer. So, I mean, it was the cheaper alternative to having an interface because I don't have $500 to drop. And I've seen some cheaper ones so far, but at this point right now, especially considering a song, one song in specific that I'll show you after this podcast, but it's the one I'm most proud of off of Haven Sweet Haven because it uses this. Not only is everything like EQ'd exactly right where I want it to sit, but it's using like especially the drums, like I feel are really driving, and it's really just like it just warrants the hook that I'm putting in it. But anyway, I digress from that. I wanted to move backwards just a little bit. What were you talking about before we ran
Well,
off on this
I was
tangent?
going to add on to that real quick that I feel like one of the biggest fears of any art field is being good enough to be technically good, but not being good enough to wow people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're kind of getting at. It's
No.
like, it's like, what, yes, it was all done. Yes, it was all done well. And yes, I can appreciate it. But I think, like what maybe some of those people were not getting is that wow reaction that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember at one point I was listening to some of my music, and then you actually were next on the track, and I was like, "What is this intro, man?" And I think it was the title name of Bordello, the PunkBordello song,
Oh, Cobra. Are you talking about the intro?
where you're standing on the beach.
Oh,
I think it was the title name of the self-titled album, Bordello, right?
I don't have a
But
self-titled album.
really,
Not yet. No, that's in the future. So basically, the way that I want my shit to go. So I have my first album, which is a double album. Well, okay. So let me
I was just gonna
preface.
say that I really enjoyed that intro and how you laid it in, and it was mixed very well because I think it was the album you made before you came to Austin.
Oh, off of Epitaph. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not. Are you talking about? Are you talking about Sunshining?
I can pull it up right now, but and then so like I started listening to more of your songs again because I think this was probably maybe about a year ago because it was like right around the time you had left and I hadn't talked to you for a while and I started making some of my own music and then I was just like listening to my own stuff on replay and then since you're a part of Liked, it pulled you up and I was like, this isn't one of mine. I was like, this is
Wait,
good
this
though.
was on SoundCloud?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, what?
Yeah, no,
And
I treat that entire album like a redheaded stepchild.
really,
I
because
really do, yeah.
you showed me songs off of it before and I really liked it, but I'd never heard that one.
I like them conceptually, but the thing is I made most of that on my phone. So not only did so right before that, I was homeless for about like 8 months or something like that, and like I couldn't. I just I was I had an option. I went to go live with my sister, and one of her stipulations of me staying there was that I go to college, right? And so I started going to college for audio engineering at College of DuPage in the same town I was born in. That's just a coincidence. But
Or was.
Glen Ellen. But so basically, I started going to college, and then I realized very quickly that all of these classes that I was paying for is shit that I already know. And don't get me wrong, like I derived some value, so much so that I kept my textbooks, but I derived some value from, like classes like group piano where they just show you proper form and then I just kind of expanded on that myself later on though.
I still don't know proper form. I'd say I dabble in piano. I don't know how to play shit.
I mean, to be honest, like you just have to think of it like a grid. So
Right, no, I know how to do it, but every time I go to play a song, my hands do their own thing, and it still comes out right, and I'm like, why change it now? You know what I mean? It'd be like if you were really decent at putting, and someone's like, oh, your form's all off. I'm like, but I'm getting the job done.
yeah, I mean, like that. Honestly, at the end of the day, I mean, the way that I think about it is, one of the guitar players that is featured on 2 songs of Haven, Sweet Haven. His name is Leo. He's a guitar player that plays his guitar upside down. So
Tell me about him. Yeah.
yeah, no,
yeah.
I was really fucking like impressed by that when I first met him, and I was just like, whoa, and it's like really intriguing too because like he's like he has a understanding of what he's playing, and not only that, it's like shit that's gonna be hard for anybody else to play because the way that he naturally plays is upside down. So it's like a different feel altogether, and it's really like I want to work with it, but I'm just gonna have to play power chords in the background because I can't fucking, you know what I mean? So I'm laying he's doing guitars, and then I'm laying down drums and bass, and then like vocals because I'm doing a lyric and an instrumental version of each one of the songs, and a sleep meditation version as well. So there's always going to be for the entire 10 tracks. There's also going to be like an acoustic guitar, piano track, whatever track drives the song. So, but yeah, no, I mean, I got obsessed with the way that he plays his guitar and the way that he understands music, and I still haven't fully figured it out because I haven't had enough conversations with him. Exactly. you know. So it's just weird because I admire the guy, you know. But um, so I was let's work backwards a little bit. Let's try and explain a little bit more about how we met. So um, have you heard anything from Mario lately? Mario was a guy that also worked with us at Cash America, and he's actually in the video for Wishful Thinking. I originally was going to omit him, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I see it as like an era in my life. You know, like one of my favorite pictures that we took was right on Riverside, right where we had gotten up like super early to do a shoot where the premise was like Mario running, and I mean, we didn't have anything to stabilize the camera, so it was literally like we had to just like crouch down and fucking like
You were you were sitting with your feet straight out, like
yeah.
a kid in a circle, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you were like leaning back to kind of get those shots, and you would literally turn your entire torso to get the wide shot of him running.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have one of those photos of you
Yeah.
pointing at the car.
Yeah. No, that's I wish honestly, to be honest with you, I got a shot of Mario's feet that I wish I still had.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably on my fucking hard drive somewhere, but it's like, you know what I mean? Because he was coming down Riverside, and I remember you coming up to me and saying, like, dude, that's your money shot, man.
Yeah,
And it was just.
yeah, I remember. Yeah, just because I don't know, we had him run like so many times, and he kind of got warmed up, and
Mhm.
I think he just kind of, does the disassociative thing that he does, where it's just him running,
Yeah.
and we kind of just, well, you caught him in that just kind of full focus moment of running,
Yeah.
and just kind of have everything. This is pre Tent City, because it's literally Tent City
I
now. I
just
mean,
snorted.
there is garbage and just like they'll steal bikes and put them behind these pallets slash tents and spray them and then bring them into the pawn shop and be like, $30, and you're like, no, because that's definitely not yours, and I don't want to be a part of that right now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh my god. Oh god, those fucking tent CDs, man. It's like so I mean, obviously I'm from the Chicagoland area, so I'm familiar with like homeless people. Like I have been my entire life. Like I mean, when I was like just like a kid, my reality was that I was until I moved in with my dad, I was just running the streets for the most part. My mom would be pretty uninvolved and I was, pretty loose leashed, so to speak. So like I remember one specific like homeless guy when I would like I would take a train out to like Arlington Heights to go visit like my friends, and we would meet. It was literally kind of like the 50s almost, where we would like go and meet up with each other in the town square right across the street from a movie theater, right?
At the
And
local malt shop.
we would go like steal cigarettes from gas stations. Like I was straight up a little hood rat, bro. I really was. And fucking, I mean, we were all fucking just like, smoking weed, and like it fucking like 12, 13, 14 years old, like fucking at this time I had just gotten back from Colombia. Or no, it was right before I went to Colombia. So I was like 11, 12, like in that area. What's funny is that like now I understand it even less because because like I was so unsupervised as a kid, and then like it's to a lot of people it's like amazing that I've even become like as rationally minded as I am now. And I just like it befuddles me probably the fucking most is because like I mean I was the one doing that shit. I didn't think of anything of it at the time like but now it's just like I look back at it and I'm like, yeah, if I had a kid, I would not let them do that shit.
Dude, for perspective, if your life is like that, mine was like Boyhood, where at that same age group I was just trying to learn how to fly like Gohan and Videl, because I was watching the Boo Saga where they were learning to do that. So yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. So you're stealing cigarettes, and I'm just trying to learn how to do a Kamehameha, man.
Let me tell you a story. Okay, so this is how I got banned from the 7-Eleven in Arlington Heights, Illinois. Right? I'm sure, like, now, I mean, I was, like I said, like 12 years old at the time, so I'm pretty sure at this point in time now, I could probably walk in there and maybe just grow out the beard. I'm pretty sure the cashier that was there doesn't even still fucking work there anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, case in point.
Or maybe he does, and he's like, "It's you.
Well, there's actually like two
You
separate.
only 30 years worth of cigarettes."
So I'm actually gonna add this in there too. But so there's a Sitco on the right side of the street. Say you're just like looking down the street, right?
Spell that.
Sitco.
S-I-T-C-O.
Oh, they don't have Sitcos in Texas. That's fucking right, dude.
We got sack and pack or pack and sack, whatever one.
I totally okay. So it's a Citgo, Sitco.
Like city, go.
I guess I don't know. I never questioned it as a kid, to be honest with you. I'm just like, yeah, it's fucking Sitco.
Not fair.
I mean, shitty gas and fucking accessories. But
Accessories. Oh, what kind?
Keychains that'll break on you in a week.
Yeah.
I mean, just it's a fucking gas station, just like any other one.
They're convenience stores, sir. You have to be.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's why they charge a convenience fee.
I forgot this was Lords of PC.
Oh, absolutely. But like, it's fucking $4 for a bag of Gordettos. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
He is my
$9
friend.
for milk, bitch.
He is my friend.
Bro, no. So during the pandemic, I went to one of the stores and they were charging like straight up $7 for a thing of eggs, and I was like, bro, it's like $3-4 elsewhere, and he's like, good luck finding it. And I'm like, wow.
Oh my god. Oh shit.
It just looked me dead in the face and said that.
But okay, so getting back on track.
Sitco.
So there was a Sitco on your right if you're looking down the street. There's a Sitco on your right, and then immediately afterwards, pretty much like maybe like 100 feet away, there's a 7-Eleven, right? And that's just a convenience store. The Sitco is a gas station. So when I was 12 years old, I'd taken the train right after I got off school, and I go to Arlington Heights. And, nobody's at the square. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just go and try to steal a pack of cigarettes from the 7-Eleven. And so I go, and then, like, I didn't want to, go in and buy something at this 7-Eleven, and then also steal from it at the same time, because it just didn't seem like, a wise thing to do. Like, hey, I just stole a pack of cigarettes. Now let me get that candy bar right there. You know what I mean? Fuck, like... No, I'm calling the cops. You know what I mean? So I go into the Sitco to grab whatever I needed to grab, and it was earnest, bro. That's the thing that fucks with me to this day, is that my intentions were earnest in the first place. But I walk into this gas station, there's nobody there, and I'm just like the attendant was like doing something somewhere, just minding his priorities. But I waited there for like a good 5-7 minutes before I fucking, like, I said, hello, like, anybody here? And I looked around, and I was just like,
All right.
Okay, all right. And I literally filled my fucking backpack full of cartons of cigarettes. And then I sold them to the kids that I would hang out with at the square. So that's instance number one. And then the second one is when I got caught at the 7-Eleven, got banned for life, right? And so this particular time, I had some friends that I was introducing to it that I had already done some hood rat shit with before. So I I go to my regular 7-Eleven, but on this particular instance, like, it had like an open back counter. So like I would just reach my little fucking hand back there and just try to grab whatever the fuck I could grab. And we would have like another person there to like distract the cashier, right? And fucking I walked to the bathroom so that I could like scope it all out, and then I come back out, and then fucking it's still like not clear. So I just got tired of waiting. I knew I was looking suspicious, and I was just like, all right, let's go for it. And so I just grabbed like 5 packs of cigarettes and just fucking dipped out the fucking door, man.
Wow.
So and then later on, like I was wearing skinny jeans at the time too, so you could see them bulging out of
Right.
my fucking.
You're ahead
You
and
could see
shit.
them bulging out of my fucking pocket, right? And so I get stopped by this cop, and he's
How
like,
far out?
"Oh, maybe like I had made it maybe like a good like mile or
Holy
two."
shit.
You know what I mean? Like I was already
On
back.
foot?
I was pretty much back around the town
On
square.
foot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so fucking he sees me and my, fucking my homies walking. And he's just like, "What's in your pocket?" And I just lied to his face, bro. I straight up just like I straight up just lied to his face. I was like, "Pens."
Not what you're looking for. These are
Exactly.
not the smokes you're looking for.
These are not the shitheads you're looking for, basically. I tried, and then he literally he threw me up the fucking threw me against the fucking car, bro.
Wow.
Straight up, he did not care. He's like, "I know you're fucking lying to me." He reached, and you know what's funny is like I had actually stolen like a pack of pens, so it wasn't like too far fetched. Like there were also pens in there. You know what I
You
mean?
forgot about the smokes.
Yeah.
No, I
He
had
reaches in there. He grabs the pens first, and I'm like, "See what I tell you?" And then he grabs the fucking. He grabs. It was almost like the time like when I was in high school, my sophomore year of high school. I got caught with a pack of cigarettes in school, right? And fucking the teacher saw me because the person who was, I mean, it was just like a year or two difference. The person who got them for me literally just like fucking took them out of their bag in front of the teacher, split them in my hand, and said, "Here's your cigarettes." And I was like 15 years old. I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, are you fucking stupid, bro? And I mean, I I guess she was just fucking oblivious, but it happens. Anyway, the teacher followed me out, and she's just like, "Hey, so yeah, give them to me." And I was just like, "You want an Altoid?" Because I also had a bag of Altoid.
You always carry your decoy stuff. I got
Yeah,
you.
exactly. You know what I mean? She's like, "Ha ha ha ha." Ha." I'm like, "All right, well, I had to try." You know,
Jesus.
but yeah, and then so going back to that whole thing, like basically he took me back to the 7-Eleven, they ID'd me, and the cashier didn't look as pissed as my mom did because she had to like actually come and do something with her kid. You know? So she shows up, and you know what pissed me off the most is that like that cop didn't question it. This is kind of like where my mind frame is at now that I'm older and wiser and wouldn't like go and do that. I have money now. I don't like not money, but like I can pay for things that I need. I don't have to fucking try and cheat the system. I can just work and make a living, and I can be okay for the most part. Um, but one of the things that perplexes me now about what happened then was that this cop he was kind of just, it was just funny to him. You know what I mean? He didn't really give a fuck about me. He didn't really care about the situation. He was just like, "Oh yeah, your mom's gonna beat your ass." Like, yeah, no shit, she's gonna beat my ass. But why do you think I was doing this in the first place? Could it be because maybe she beats my ass without even fucking, having a legitimate reason?
Yeah.
Maybe the reasons she had were invented.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what happened. Like, bro, my mom hit me in the fucking head with an alarm clock just because like I forgot to hit snooze
Jesus.
when I fucking got in the shower for school in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally like pelted it at me like it sounds funny, but it wasn't. It was
No,
very
I'm
traumatic.
sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah, no. But anyway, let's diverge a little bit. So I wanted to say something about that tent city thing that is happening. So like, cause there was a point in time where like, yeah, there were like there was like a whole bunch of like homeless people, right? But it wasn't as pronounced as it is now. So like, I wonder what specifically changed to make them migrate. Was it just like
I kind of know. If you let me kind of speak on that.
Sure.
So there was a point right before they all started moving in, and there was a gentleman named Puzzle,
Mhm.
and I mean, there was maybe 3, 4 tents out in the open at this point, and I mean, literally, I'm on that street every single day. I'm at that light every single day. So, I got to know these guys. And he was like, yeah, some of these guys coming in, we don't really trust them. And they were towards, like, the HEB side, but the new people were kind of, like, towards the CVS Hill area. And then later on, he told me, yeah, one of the guys is, like, being investigated for murder. And I was like, oh. And then, like, a day later, he's like, okay, there's 3 open murder cases now.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and so all of a sudden, more and more people started piling up, and then I stopped seeing Puzzle. And then I stopped seeing more regulars, coming into the shop and, on the corner, and then they literally just were gone. And one of the times beforehand, literally, Puzzle's on the left side. I look over to my right, and there's like 5 college kids all holding up a sign like, 30 years ago, this happened in, South America. What a terrible thing. And I'm like, true. But you're not doing anything about it. You're reminding people, and then you're taking selfies to make yourself feel good. And there's literally a man right here starving. And he even said something. He's like, look at these kids. He's like, they're just doing it for the publicity.
Yeah.
And there's literally people behind them and next to them who need their help. It's happening now. And where are they?
Right.
Their own self-interests. So I think that mentality just kind of continued, and they started busing people in from other cities and other states. And this is proven. They would just round people up, give them $50 in their pocket and a bus ticket. Go to Austin, they'll treat you better. Good luck. And I mean, I don't want to say deserve it, but I guess we did that at some point to San Antonio. And I think maybe like Houston or Dallas, we were doing that at one point. I was told, yeah, like late 2000s, we were busing people out. So we became the metropolitan city. We just hit 1 million. Whenever I got here in 2010ish, 2011, no, 2012, excuse me, 750,000. 2 years ago, we hit 1 million. A year later, we fucking doubled in a half. So like we're at like 2.5 or something insane.
I feel fucking stupid for not having known this before, specifically because like I knew Austin was like a small city, but you also got to understand I come from like Chicagoland area, so that's like, I mean, what's the probably? I think like 3 to 4 million.
Yeah.
So that's just what I'm used to, and because the areas in Austin that I've been in have been so, what's the word I'm looking for? Because they've been so cityscaped, I guess you could say.
Right.
Because they're like I live in the city of Austin, you know what I mean? I'm like 5 minute drive from like fucking 5th Street, you know?
Right.
So I mean, it's just like I never really like stopped and thought about the population of Austin. I didn't realize that it went from 750,000 up to 1 million, and then that's like, I mean, that makes it like kind of like a major city, because like, so like when you
after
put these
1 million,
things,
you're a metropolis. Like
right,
literally.
right, like I didn't even think about that, and it's so weird to think about, because I mean I got here in 2018, so I mean you had a lot more time to see like the changes. The first time I was ever
Yeah, I was
here
born here.
was like maybe like 2016. I want to say 2015, something like that, somewhere around there. I remember being like 20. Maybe 20. No. Yeah, no, I had to be 20 because I wasn't able to drink, and it was like a big deal to me at the time that I was able to order a drink from Chewy's.
That's awesome.
But so walk it back a little bit, because I'm still kind of having like trouble understanding. So that's basically where the homeless. Okay. All right, so currently the current metro area population of Austin in 2021 is 2,117,000,
But
a 3.12 increase from 2020.
and I heard more recently that it was 2.5. So I'll say it's between there but it's probably more.
That's a lot.
Dude, but like even on Riverside, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new high rises, and then Old Torf has like 5, and each one of those houses, a few hundred, maybe a few thousand people,
Mm-hmm.
because they're huge. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah, no, those things. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I've delivered orders there. Well, like at least at plenty of them. I mean, I didn't live in a high rise. I lived in fucking a roach infested shithole, bro. Bro, I remember fucking walking into the the kitchen and watching them scatter. I was just like, that's fucking gross, bro. Oh my
you
god.
talking
But
shit about your roommates, bro?
no. I guess I kind of am.
Let
Am
them pay
I?
rent, man. You know.
Yeah, no. I mean, fucking someone could have helped me. My fucking bank account was going into the red every month, man. Um, but no, so it's like that kind of puts it in perspective. But so like I never even like considered that people could like anybody could be just like, all right, here's $50, go over there.
Right?
You know what I
Yeah, that
mean?
blew
Like,
my mind too. I was
it's
like, what the fuck? Who does
who
that?
is doing that?
Who
I
does-
don't have $50 for that. That's like. I mean, that's not even
It's
my
the
cable.
South Park
my-
joke, man.
It is. It really is, man. It fucking is. But so how did the murders tie into that?
I was just illustrating that I was very comfortable with the career homeless. I understood who they were. A lot of people understood who they were.
Mhm.
And he told me best. Back in the day, we stayed out of sight, out of mind.
Uh-huh.
You know, cops don't pick us up because where are we going to go? Drunk tank for a night, come back out here and do it all over again tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, where do we go? The Arch, where, I mean, it's just crazy. So they said they'd rather be here south of the river, you know? And as more and more people came in, the literal area got unsafe for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Marissa and I literally used to walk up to CBS. We would walk up to CBS at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Didn't fucking matter. We would just kind of hang out, you know, do our
Yeah.
thing. Literally, like, they found a knife outside at one point and at the Walgreens underneath a garbage bin. One of the guys was doing a
Oh wow.
yeah. So the area just kept getting more and more unsafe. And like
Yeah.
when the homeless are telling you that, there's a fucking problem.
Yeah, that's kind of like. No, I totally understand that. I mean, fucking. But I mean, the thing that I've wanted to bring up since you brought this topic up was, so. Even so, I totally understand that a solution needs to be made, and that we have to like move that forward. But like, am I crazy, or was I just misinformed when somebody told me that cops were literally just rounding up homeless people and just arresting them? Like once
I
that
haven't read that.
I mean, I heard that
and I haven't seen
like, 'cause
that.
I heard that like a bill got passed and like that's just what happened, and it literally felt like within the span of like a week, like all the homeless people that I saw, because it was getting, you could see it visibly getting worse.
If that happened, it's probably in like suburban areas because we're over on shopping centers. A lot of the areas I saw are outside, 35 or Ben White, right? So they're going to be under overpasses and stuff like that. I don't know of any other big camps that got rolled up, but they look the same to me.
Yeah.
I keep hearing September 1st is going to be another, big deal because they're changing the gun law.
Oh yeah. So what are they changing
To
about
my
the gun law?
understanding, it's you don't need a license to carry
Right.
to conceal carry, I believe.
Right. Like they're just basically
Right. So because open carry is okay, and then you need the license to conceal carry, and I believe
right
it's
now,
that.
and then now they're just like fuck
right.
it.
And I also heard, I don't know if there's any validity to it, but that it's going to make things muddy because if you don't need that license, I think maybe you had to be 21 to qualify for that license, and that's what kept 18-year-olds from having firearms. But that doesn't make any sense because you're not allowed to have a pistol until you're 21. But I've
Right.
had multiple 18-year-olds come in saying that they've also heard that somehow they passed a rule where 18-year-olds can now carry as well. Pistols, and because they're allowed to have shotguns, but
Yeah. They're allowed to have a rifle or a shotgun.
and also like it's illegal for them to purchase, but it's not illegal for them to hold, and it's like a weird gray area.
I mean,
I've heard a lot of misinformation. I don't want to give anything super concrete, but
in my own personal opinion, if that was the law of the land in Texas, that would make me feel safer.
it would.
It would make me feel
That
safer.
18-year-olds would have guns too.
No, just I mean that's not what I was referring to.
Oh, okay.
No, because I don't think an 18-year-old needs a fucking gun. But I mean, don't get me wrong. Like
They took away
It
cigarettes and gave them guns. What the hell is going on?
I mean, it's kind of like it. You're right. It is kind of like a gray area because like I mean, if I were to say that, then it's just like, okay, but what about the people? What about the 18-year-olds in the military?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like they're literally
Right.
like enforced in or not enforced. They're enlisted to train to use firearms, and
In theory, an 18-year-old could use a gun in country and kill someone, and it's completely okay by the U.S. government. I completely agree. Yeah.
yeah.
So why can't they defend themselves on that same soil that they're fighting for?
Exactly.
I
You know,
agree.
and I mean, I totally
Again,
understand
but
that.
my thing is,
But
I want more information out, and I want more classes, just because a lot of these kids who come in,
absolutely, you
their
should.
only thing is, I need me that heater, or I want that piece, right?
Yeah, see,
And
that's
it's like, dude,
that's the
but do
that's
you
the,
know what it is?
that's the demographic I'm fucking worried about, though. So
I
I
mean,
mean,
but all walks of people come in with complete ignorance to firearms
oh
at a
yeah,
younger age. Now there
yeah,
are some kids who were like, oh, I know what that is. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I'm like, okay, good. Yeah,
yeah,
that's refreshing.
yeah,
But most part, man, women, men, all races, they just know I need something to protect myself. What's the cheapest option? And it's just like that should not be.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like sometimes you do. I mean, you got to pony up a little bit more,
yeah,
to get something that's going to be consistent.
yeah.
And I
That's
mean, I'm
true.
not talking a whole lot. $450 would get you a fantastic gun.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? $700 will get you a fantastic rifle, AR-15 variant.
yeah,
I mean, it's cheaper now to get firearms. I just don't want a bunch of people to have guns. Me to be walking with my wife, and then something happens, and then someone shoots off trying to save somebody, and then hits one of us.
yeah. No,
And that's the problem.
I'm totally in agreement with you. I mean, I think that before you buy a gun, you should literally, yeah, I mean, like you have to have like a certain amount of firearms training courses, but I don't think it should really be limited to anybody.
Did
You know
you
what I
have
mean?
training in the pawn shop for the guns yet?
Say what?
Whenever you were there, you didn't have training, right?
No,
Because
no,
we
no,
don't
no.
do a background check for mental health. We just do like a criminal background check, and it checks your name, where you live, and potential aliases, and like people you hang out with.
Uh-huh.
And if you're probably buying it for criminals or you yourself are a criminal, they're gonna tell you no or at least delay you.
Mhm.
But for the most part, dude, I've seen people get approved in like 2 seconds.
Hmm.
But I've seen people get delayed for 3 weeks. So it's kind of a strange process.
It is. It's really. I mean, that's one
If you're
thing that
John Smith, you're gonna be waiting a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they
Well-
gotta be like, who the hell are you? And that's why they give you the U pin. Because if you go through those problems, it's basically like having a social security number in the gun system. And I know people, dude. I know immigrants who literally own fucking armories and multiple vehicles and are just enjoying the shit out of being an American. And it's awesome to see. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm like, I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah.
Because he knows what he's buying, he
Right.
knows how to use it, and he knows when he has to use it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, just pure respect for what it is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people go out there with it'd be like if I just threw you the keys to a Ferrari and said go to the highway and just gun it. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, it's exactly like that. Yeah.
you know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
because vehicular manslaughter is a charge for a reason.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, vehicles are weapons. It's kind of like that. It's really weird to me how some things can be kind of applicable across the board, and then you know what I mean. Like, I think that guns and vehicle kind of like requirements and uh, policies and procedures in place are pretty. I mean, for the most part, you understand where it comes from. Like for example, like car insurance being a necessity. You know, like that being required for you to drive down the fucking street. I'm not saying I condone it necessarily. Like, I'm not. It's a little weird to me just because.
In Virginia, you can get away with it. It's called being an uninsured driver, and it's a $500 fine. They're still making their money. You still have to pay into the system at some point.
Yeah.
Even whenever they allow it.
Right. And I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination, like, saying anything against car insurance. It's just, it kind of. Are you okay?
Puppy's fine.
Okay.
That was your cat making the noise.
Oh, okay.
See?
I mean, I got the
Slamming
earbuds in,
doors.
so I can't hear anything. You just like I just saw a face, and she just looks like she's fucking dying. I mean, hey, you guys want to let her out? She looks depressed as fuck.
Yeah, you can.
I can't move from this spot because
Okay.
I'm wired in.
No worries.
I'm inside the matrix right now. Oh, it's just the bottom one. Yeah. Just leave it open. She'll come out at her own discretion. I just want her to know that she can.
Yeah.
Um, and she's like super docile, especially now that she knows that we've been hanging out for a second. I'm sure that
Yeah, she's
she'll
a
warm up
sweetie.
to you. But anyway, not to say anything against car insurance, but I mean, it's just like, should it necessarily be a necessity?
So
It's like, it just seems for like, because it's almost like one of those things to me where, like, if somebody doesn't have the money to get it in the moment, which I've kind of been there, I don't I don't know if that. I mean, are they just trying to get to work? What are they using it for?
it's a
You know what I
public
mean?
service.
It's
So if
well,
it's not publicized, it's privatized, and someone else is making money and pocketing it. I do agree that there's a
right.
lot of
That's also,
corruption,
yeah.
but with government, like when I worked at the city, you can't take any kind of gifts. Period.
Yeah.
Like if you come in and you're like, "Hey, dude, you're awesome. I made you a cupcake, bro." That's bribery. Get
Mm.
the fuck up out of here with that, right? Like, and they're so specific with using government time,
Mm.
like period. Like they were back in the day, people would like take backhoes and go use it on their their neighbor's lawn and shit like that. No more, right? So that's a city, not a state. The municipalities are a little bit more open, especially since it's the fucking capital, Austin,
Yeah.
Texas.
Right.
But with roads, man, the reason we have the highways is because the government, I think FDR passed it
Yeah.
in order to get the
It's basically. I mean.
the army bases to kind of communicate and move shipments and shit.
Well, right.
And
Absolutely.
we use them, so that's why we're paying for the right to use them.
Right. It's
And then
a.
they pushed for the 21 bill for alcohol because so many 18-year-olds were dying on the streets in like the 70s. So that's why they switched that.
Right.
So I mean, that seemed like it made sense and stuff like that. But you should be more worried about like what Volvo's doing. Like originally they came out with the seatbelt, and everyone's like, "You're infringing on our rights. Why do we have to wear a seatbelt?"
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
But it saves lives, and now they're bragging, saying that that's a good enough reason for them to put a camera in your car and see what you're doing. What are you doing? Why are you on your phone? Are you getting roadhead? Are you eating a snack? What's going on here?
See, I feel like everything is moving towards the way that things are in China, which is like the social credit system. Everything is monitored. You can't go down the street and fucking buy an apple without.
They take a photo
Literally.
of you on the highway every 1,000 yards. So if it's raining, you literally have blinding lights hitting you going 60 miles per hour every few seconds. And
That's
it's making
so-
sure same thing. You're not getting roadhead. You're not eating a snack. You're not on your phone.
And see, that's the thing. See, I don't know if it's all like pretty much inevitable, but all I know for a fact is that, and this is why I moved here, that Texans will be against it the whole way.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that infringes on it's
So
the thing. I feel like the thing about Texans is that I've kind of learned to appreciate just like the natural way to go about being a Texan, because Texas has really like harsh statutes in
it's
place.
biased though, dude, to a lot of Republican laws. That's why weed is
Yeah.
not legal and 18-year-olds are about to carry guns.
Yeah.
It's just about whoever has the voting power. And
Oh yeah, absolutely.
that's why Austin and El Paso haven't been able to sway the rest of Texas, because we're the only fucking blueberries in this
yeah.
tomato soup,
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I see value in both prerogatives, because to me it's just like I value like the ability and the freedom to own something to protect myself, because I don't have any like family or anybody immediately looking out for me and my safety right now. That's up to me as a man living in a new place. You know what I mean? That was like the decision that I made. It's no different than my brother's grandma fucking it's no different than my brother's grandma, like living out of her out of her truck at one point in her life, and then fucking having a gun in the glove compartment. You need that to be safe. You have no idea what's going to happen when you're literally traveling across the country. You know what I mean? Like, you're literally in a different area that you have never seen before every day.
Right.
And
Well, even at home, dude, like, we have windows everywhere.
Dude, the only thing
and that's the only thing that's protecting your ass.
The only thing that's like stopping a chair coming from that window or something to just break it down. That's the only thing. Like, I mean, it's just like a glass fucking window.
It's heated up
It's a
sand.
sliding
motherfucker.
door, bro. It can literally, like, I leave it I'm not gonna say this. I'm not gonna say this
There
on
you
the
go.
air. But
Don't dox yourself.
yeah, no, I mean like it's not it's just not the safest thing in the world, you know? And I mean that's why I keep a hatchet close. Is because if anybody breaks that window, you're getting a face full of hatchet. You know what I mean? But at the same time it's just like I'm grateful to have a medium to be able to protect myself. But it is absolutely as raw and powerful as anything can get in this world. You know, it's the power to take a life,
Mhm.
you know? And it's like, I mean, you don't, once you know how to use it, if you're not at the shooting range, that shit's put up, that shit's put away, you know?
I mean, I'm Texan. I like guns, but
You know?
I wish throwing hands was more celebrated.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
wouldn't that
Why
be
is
great?
it,
Dad, I'm turning
dude,
16 tomorrow. I get to go throw some hands for my test, and your teacher's like, "Let's go."
bro, okay, so let me tell you a story. Okay, so the guy that was just here that you met,
Yeah.
the trombone player,
Yeah.
he literally was, at one point in time, he was fighting a case because he was busking on the street. He was playing trombone out on the street, and,
To be
so,
fair, that's a loud ass instrument.
I mean, yeah, but when you're in
Can't
like
you only
when
drum
you're
an
in like a
acoustic
town
and play
square,
an
it's like being a
acoustic?
trumpeter, you know? It's like
But did he put a muzzle on it?
that's not a question for me, man. I'm not a brass
Because then that's
instrument.
an unimpeded sound wave, bro. That's, you know what I mean?
I mean, all right, I get it, but
Do
at
you
this,
though?
I mean, not really. But the fact of the matter is, like, if I see a brass instrument outside, it doesn't matter what kind of hurry I'm gonna take a stop. I'm gonna stop and take a second and appreciate the fact because it's a different world playing a brass instrument than it is a stringed
I know.
instrument like
I played
guitar.
trumpet.
You did what?
Yeah.
You never told me that.
Yeah, seventh grade. Yeah, sixth and seventh grade.
Shit. Do you still have a trumpet?
No, but the thing I didn't like about it is because you have to vibrate the fuck out of your lips the entire
Yeah,
time.
bro.
So
Imagine, dude, I didn't find that out until I was like maybe like 17, 18 years old. Imagine my mind when I realized that
Yeah, that's
fucking
what you're
Miles
doing.
Davis
Yeah.
was famous for going.
Yeah, you're going up to the hole and going. Yeah, the entire time.
Oh my god. But it's like, it's the control though.
Right.
It's the
Exactly.
control,
Exactly.
and it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, that's what controls all the tonality. And so, I know that as a musician now, but like for trombone, for saxophone, for trumpet, like all of those brass instrument, I have, and even like any other stringed instrument that is, devious from the regular rock standard,
Right.
is like
Everyone
sort
knows
of
the
like cello.
famous woodward instrument, the cello.
Yeah, yeah. Cello Suite is the
What
only
it?
song anybody
He
knows.
blows me like a cello or something.
Oh my god. And then he was just like, yo, I take full responsibility for that. But at the same time, let's talk about all the people that let me say it.
Right, dude. I
That
think Lil
was
Wayne had a
funny.
moment like that too. Where he
I
just
was like, yeah, no, I get that. They just went out there and they were like, yep, go ahead.
sounds great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just like, y'all let me be stupid, bro.
The dangers of yes, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And so,
Don't
I mean,
agree
that.
with me.
Huh?
I said, don't agree with me.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You have to say no.
No, fuck you. You're
There
wrong.
you go. Fuck you very much.
uh, but no, I just have the utmost respect for it. But for brass instruments, and bro, he was assaulted, and because he was like, I mean, he was assaulted, and they destroyed his trombone.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and not even this time, but he made a statement to defend himself. I'm not gonna go into details, but he made a statement, like a threat, like if you, because it was obviously like one of the dude's cronies that came back at him the second time when he was busking, and literally this was right after he got his trombone fixed from the first encounter. And I mean, he showed me a picture, like it was absolutely like trashed. Like I wanted to fuck someone up just seeing what they did to this man. But he made a statement saying that he's like, yo, dude, I will defend myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna let anybody, because the dude literally the first time was choking him out. Guy thought he was gonna die,
Oh, okay then.
and
What
he
the
was just
fuck?
doing what he loves, playing
Yeah.
trombone on the street, trying to make some money to make ends meet.
Right.
And this guy literally fucking goes and assaults him, like totally unprovoked, like it was out of the blue. And I mean, I get it to a certain extent if you don't like, hearing music on the street because you're a fucking asshole or something. but that does not give you any kind of right, because the way that I see it, like a musician like that, any musician who's busking on the street, you might as well
Which
consider
street?
them the messenger.
Which street?
Huh?
Where was he?
Is I think he told me it was around San Antonio, maybe in San Antonio, I don't know.
Was he like near a bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this socially accepted area to be busking.
Exactly. Yeah, where it is already pretty much loud.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's what I mean. The socially acceptable places to be busking is where you're gonna make money. So it's not like we're just. Even if I went to the middle of nowhere in a field or a residential neighborhood, like
it doesn't help that the trombone can sound like one of the most sarcastic instruments like on the planet. Exactly. But nobody deserves to have their property and then themselves, in any kind of danger.
You know,
like that.
And especially considering the fact that the guy was just trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He found a way to make a trombone, entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Any instrument just sits there until it's in the right hands.
Yeah.
And even in, semi-capable hands can still sound like shit. Yeah. So to have somebody go out there and then put themselves out there to be like, not only am I going to step out of my home and reveal myself through this instrument, but I'm counting on you guys to literally help me to continue to live.
Yeah.
So, it's free if you don't like it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
exactly.
if you like it, please, I welcome any kind of payment.
Help.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, fucking, busking is a different type of stage performance. All right, it's a different type of performing, because these aren't people that paid to see you. These aren't people that you know. These aren't people that you've met before, who you've promoted your shit to. This is them hearing you for the first time ever, and it's literally just happenstance while they're going about their day.
Yep.
So if they don't like your shit, they're just gonna keep walking. You know what I mean?
They could be walking to divorce their wife or
whatever.
whatever.
Or even worse, they could throw negative energy your way, and that shit is like, it's terrifying. Because I've busked with him. We went up to South Congress, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. I want to say 2. I think 2 weeks ago. We went up to South Congress and we just turned on a couple of jazz R&B instrumentals, and then we just went for it, and I was on the drums and he was on the trombone, and we were just kind of playing around with it, just kind of I was just riding the beat and everything like that, but I was so fucking nervous, kind of anxious that I hadn't really felt since the last time I played an actual show. And I mean, I look at everything from the perspective of, oh yeah, I got this. I headlined the House of Blues when I was fucking 18 years old. I got this, But see, the point that I've come to in my life is a more humbling one now, because now I don't have those opportunities that I'd always had, because I had been booking shows since I was 12, 13, 14 years old. I'd always been in bands, and I always had to connect to get onto a stage. And so now I'm humbled because in the last fucking 5 years, I haven't been able to go on stage besides an open mic here and there. And that was really just to try out new stuff. And so now where I'm at is in a much more cutthroat position, where it's really hard to get off the ground, but once you get some momentum and you do something different and outside the box, you might have a legitimate shot. And so it's just, when I went up to busk with him, it was just a different kind of nervous that I hadn't felt. It was almost like the first time I ever went on stage. And that's a story in and of itself. You want to hear it?
Absolutely. Before that, I just want to say that one of the weird experiences we saw on YouTube about busking is there's a gentleman outside playing a violin outside of Juilliard. A trombone. It is a trombone. Oh, shit. So he's playing a trombone. You can talk. A trumpet, excuse me. It's a trumpet, and he's outside Juilliard? Or what is it? Yeah, wait, it's a very famous art school, right? Yeah, and he's just out there playing, and this very small man, Danny DeVito stature man.
Oh my god.
Is what the hell are you doing? He's like, you have no talent. And the guy's just like, what? And he's trying not to let it get to him. But I guess the guy's like a professor, and he's carrying like a little briefcase. And he just like throws the briefcase down and starts throwing a tantrum, just yelling at the guy that he has no right to be playing outside where such beautiful art has been played and our beautiful minds.
Is he playing the trombone badly?
Trumpet.
Trumpet? Okay.
Passably good, you know. I mean, I don't notice the song, or I don't recognize the song, but I mean, it's not like he's out there being an asshole, and just it's hilarious just to have this little man, you know, with such stature apparently in this world.
He should have just leaned in and went, Dennis, your mother is a dirty whore. Oh my god.
Dennis.
I can't stand people like that, man, that just have like, because I feel like where that comes from is, oh, here, let's watch it. All
right, yeah, let's at least hear the audio.
Here, just yeah, put it in the mic. Here. Oh, I have seen this years ago. What a fucking douchebag.
And he just starts being annoying.
He doesn't want to assault him, but he wants him to stop playing trumpet. And his technique is really good, too.
Like, you can tell he's being sarcastic at this point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This guy's like, dude, fuck off, man.
Go to the street.
I would just fucking put that trumpet in his ear and go, "Whoa!" You know what I mean? Like, just fucking wail on it. Like, you can tell this fucking asshole wants to assault the guy. You know, he's like raising up his fucking briefcase or his fucking man purse or whatever the fuck.
It's just in New York City, and then he's just yelling at him for like 4 minutes straight.
It's just like, dude, are you gonna throw hands or what? Like, if it's that big of a deal, fight me. You know what I mean? Because I'm not leaving. I booked my ass all the way up here. I rode train after train and fucking walked through traffic to get here to play music here today now. So, I mean, what's up, bro? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You picked the wrong one, man.
Especially like on those days where you like, cause I think about it this way, like when I brought my drum set. Well, I mean, fucking Sawyer. He brought his he bought a drum set and then brought it out for me to busk with him, right? And freaking when we were doing that, like, I mean, I've done it myself before, and it's like it's a lot of fucking work. Like, you're sweating, you've worked up like a sweat just by the time that you have like set everything up.
I remember I recorded you setting up to busk.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so
and you did not beat it to Sunset. Sunset literally lapsed your ass, and
it did, but we got good content
we got good
out of
footage.
that.
Fantastic, yeah.
Really good. Like we gotta play around with that drone a little bit more.
Absolutely.
You gotta help me.
I have a better version of it now. Mine's a 4K.
Oh.
Yeah, and I got better at it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Changing those laws too, by the way.
What?
They're changing the drone laws again.
What are they changing?
I don't know specifically, so I won't say specifically, but I do know more restrictions.
Fuck.
Of course, it's always more restrictions, right?
Yeah. I mean, not with the guns thing. You would think it would be more restrictions, but it's actually the opposite. But this is Texas, so it's a different story. There's a different kind of camaraderie to the state.
I think we saw a great statement. It was like, I just want gay couples to be able to defend their marijuana plants with guns.
Yeah. No, and I mean, like, yeah, it's like who cares, man? Like, at least our generation.
I'm like, look, are you contributing to society? Like, no, okay, well, do you have a hobby that can? Like, all right, just do something. And be a nice person.
Bro, honestly, like, I'm fully pro autonomy. Like, do you pay taxes too?
Yeah.
All right, cool, fuck it.
But the right taxes. We have to have the right taxes. You know what I mean?
mean, you have to pay a tax on fucking everything now.
Well, I'm okay with paying a tax on everything as long as it's the right percentage for the right reasons going to the right places.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
not, you know what I
like
mean?
like two to three out of those things is not what's going
No,
on.
you're absolutely right, and that's why I mean, like, the more we question the system, the more it has to open itself, you know, and reveal itself. Because, dude, I learned in the military, like, literally loose lips sink ships. They updated it saying loose tweets sink fleets. Basically, just means that people fucking talk, and if it's not the guy telling his wife, it's the guy telling his mistress, you
Right.
know, and somebody fucking talks, right? Or you know, the lady telling her hairdresser, you know, whatever. So the secrets always get out, and you can follow the money pretty simply for the most part. It's just we have to have more people looking. That's all it is, man. You know, perfect example. Shia LaBeouf posted some stuff, and like within a few hours, Reddit found like the flag / location and like messed with them. Like they cross reference a plane in the air at the certain time. They recognized what it was, and they triangulated the location by using the AFA flight records
To find Shia LaBeouf.
to find Shia LaBeouf putting like a flag up in the air and recording up, like, because he put it on top of a building, someone scaled the building and stole it. So then he's like, fine, I'll put it in this field and no one will ever find it. And they fucking found it within like a few hours. So like, I know the internet can do good, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's just that the too many people with too much money have too much power.
Oh yeah,
And,
absolutely.
I mean,
CEO,
if they had power and they were doing the right things,
entrepreneur,
I'm completely fine if you have power. I'm completely fine if you have money.
Jeffrey.
If we're going
Jeffrey
in the right,
Bezos.
if we're going in the right direction,
I fucking love that song, bro.
yeah, it's so great.
It's a fucking bop, bro.
It's amazing.
Imagine Bo Burnham writing a song about you and it slaps.
Yeah.
And it's totally just like,
Congratulations, Jeff Bezos, you won.
bro, like honestly, like, so
Have you
it
been
would.
to Virgin Records in New York, by the way?
You said what?
Have you been to Virgin Records in New York? Because he's one of the gentlemen who went up into space, Richard Branson.
Oh, I mean, I heard about that, but I have not. No, I have not
It was
gone to
nice. And
New
I've
York
been to the
ever.
Amazon distribution center, and I've driven a Tesla, so I feel like I've been slightly affected by each one of those.
I will absolutely
one's-
drive a Tesla because I feel even though
Let
even
me tell you here, public warning:
Uh-huh.
the Tesla will not auto stop all the time. So you think that you can't run into a wall and you're never gonna hit that car in front of you? That's bullshit. It will stop you on the highway if you're doing auto drive over 35 miles per hour and you're not in a residential area as of right now. A gentleman died because he was not paying attention while driving, speaking with his friend, and it didn't catch a guardrail because it didn't have a painted line. It reads painted lines, and the car said, "Let's keep going forward," and it went into that guardrail, flipped the car, and fucking exploded because it's like 100% battery on the bottom, and it stops it from turning over. Low center of gravity, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. But you also have like the fucking power of the sun under your ass cheeks, so you're gonna get lit up if that thing gets punctured, because it's a great barrier to get to, you know, because cars can't really hit you because they have to go through that battery, right? But at the same time, what happens if you impact a battery? You hit one of those cells, and yeah, they're running, I think, series, maybe parallel. I'm dumb, don't remember my electricity training, but it stops it from having issues.
Uh-huh.
They still have issues. So that's a long way to say Teslas are amazing, not perfect yet. Be careful, because whenever we were test driving them, they're nice, but I'm also pretty sure they're recording everything you're saying.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure of it. I mean, what I will say is that I respect Teslas in terms of like
Absolutely,
they're a marvel of a machine.
yes.
Absolutely. Because the only time I've ever driven one was when I was driving valet.
Hey,
I mean,
they're cool.
but yeah, no, they
S-Class,
are
yeah.
absolutely cool. I would absolutely love to own one in like maybe 30 years. Like
I just wish
I'm
they were
just-
30% smaller.
I'm
They're
just
too big.
I see that's like they're too quiet for me.
Yeah.
They're so like
You and Jamie Lynn Spears, because she said she ran over like 4 of her cats.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'm a manual elitist when it comes to cars, as is.
A
Like,
manual elitist.
absolutely. Like, I only drive I've
So
like,
you need all your hands and
if
feet
you
involved.
if you tell me to drive an automatic car, if it's not a rental, I'm like, it'll make me want to throw up. Like, not literally, but I'll just like I have that kind of attitude towards it, because the only there is not as much of a reason to drive an automatic transmission, and this is just in my mind. Okay, and this is not like passing judgment on because most people drive automatic at this point. But it forces you to pay a certain level of attention, a level of attention that benefits me because I'm very all over the place. My attention is scattered all the time. So the reason I like to drive manual is because it forces me to pay attention more often. Like, oh, okay, so I'm going 15 miles an hour. Now is the recommended shift point for me to shift in a second. Now I shift into third. Now I shift into fourth. Now here's a stop sign coming up on that. I might want to downshift soon. I think all of these things, and at a certain point, it's like second nature. But I personally I drive a car the way that it was intended. You
I
know,
agree. You do have more control, but do you think that having that control could kind of maybe promote a distraction away from safety outside the vehicle?
what do you mean?
Because if you're worried about shifting and you're worried about what's happening internally in the vehicle and the gear system and everything, maybe you might not see that person
It's
walking
not.
across
It's
the
not
street.
necessarily something you look down for. You don't have to look at the gear
Absolutely.
shifter
No, I
every
know.
time you
I get
shift
it.
gears.
Yeah.
It's literally like you are locked in. Your eyes are on the road, and you have one hand on the steering wheel, and you're just
Yeah, it's a
talking
flow
about if you're
state because you've done it so
shifting in a
much.
second. You have one hand on the steering wheel. You have one hand on the gear shifter. You bring your hand back to 9 and 5 or 10 and 2, and you fucking you know what I mean? You pay attention to it. You know what speed you're going because you know what gear you're in. So it's only within a span of 10 miles per hour if you're using the recommended shift points. The only time you ever really like in regular day-to-day driving when you maybe throttle it a little bit more is when you're like getting on the highway. At least for me. Like I mean I'll take it in third and I'll go from 30 I'll go from 25 miles an hour and then I'll shift into fourth at 40 miles per hour so I can keep those RPMs just like a little
Right.
bit lower and then just like fucking stretch it out just a little bit further and then it gives you a little bit more torque to get where you need to go depending on what's in front of you or what's side to side. But when I say I'm a manual elitist, that's the reason why. That's why I personally will be driving internal combustion vehicles until they until a Tesla is affordable for a normal person, until I can buy one for cash for like 3 to 4 thousand,
Yeah.
and I have the money for that. Like that's just the reality that I live in at this very point in time. And I mean, at the same time, it's like I would be terrified of it because I wouldn't have that little kind of safety thing for me. Because I personally, I was not a very good driver before, like when I lived back home in Illinois. I wasn't the most attentive. And I mean, fucking, I got into some scary situations, and it wasn't because I wasn't trying to pay attention. It was just because that's kind of the way and it was my fault, absolutely. I take full accountability for the person that I was back home in Illinois, but where I'm at now in trying to be better than that is understanding that I mean that's one of the things that scares me about all internal combustion vehicles being you know sidelined and sidewalled and ceasing production. Obviously, it's something that is going to have to happen for like the climate and everything, but like it scares me as a person because it's like, does this open me up to a level of control that I like to have?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't make a Tesla a manual. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? You try to make a Tesla a manual, it's literally just a fucking vanity project. The same way, a middle-aged guy gets a Corvette.
Yeah. Their motor's in the back, man, and I think it's like a rotary transmission or something.
Yeah, so it's complete. It's like just like
I can
one.
visually see how it works in my head. I don't remember how to verbally express it.
Yeah, they're practically different machines
No,
entirely.
absolutely.
And you know that they make tires, or like they're trying to implement tires that never go flat. They don't use rubber, so they're like literally they expand on command and they retract on command, and they're basically like this kind of like mesh. Like those fucking things in
Yeah.
like a corporate
Yeah.
office that you like lay your hand on,
Yeah.
and it fucking does the imprint of your
Mesh.
hand. What?
Mesh?
Basically, yeah, it's mesh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that kind of thing, and that way a nail goes in it, it just kind of like flies right out. You know what I mean?
as long as it's like all weather, like, you know, Texas is perfect for that. Because one
Yeah.
day it's hot, the next day it's freezing for fucking 2 weeks.
Yeah. Dude, I was actually really surprised about that maybe not this last year, but the year before, most certainly. I remember because I
Well, you
don't
were
think
not
I,
surprised about this year? What are you talking about? In February, the freeze?
dude, I come from snow. I only had 1 year without snow before I figured like it was maybe
That
like
is
one time a year.
snowpocalypse to Texans, man.
You said what?
That's snowpocalypse.
I know, and it was like fucking 4 inches. And like, dude, I still couldn't drive down the street. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was still doing it. But that's because I had a two-wheel drive fucking stick. I have a little
Yeah.
bit, you turn TCS off, you get yourself sliding, you can kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what it's like to come from snow though.
Tokyo
Like
drifting all the way through it.
like case in point, all right? When I was 17, I was driving home from my girlfriend's house at the time, and I'm making a left onto the major highway. And I'm talking like it's a real snowpocalypse. Like I'm talking like it is like snow. There's maybe like fucking like at least 6 inches on the ground, right? And like the snowplows can't come through yet because it's still all coming down. It's a blizzard, And so I'm trying to make a left out of this subdivision, so that I can go home. And there's this car that is just not stopping, and I'm in a two-wheel drive car again. So I mean, like I just couldn't. It was automatic, but like I mean, so I didn't have as much control as I wanted. But I'm like spinning out, and literally like I spun out trying to get away from this car because he did full like no ifs ands buts about it. He absolutely blatantly ran a red light,
Oh shit.
which is funny because not funny, but it's funny because like I thought like he was gonna see it and he was gonna stop because he had plenty of time. I'm talking like an F-150 coming from like he saw it like way up the road, it was like downhill, so you could see that it was coming. Maybe he didn't want to stop because of that, but he was kind of swerving all over the place. Either he didn't know how to drive in snow or dude was fucking drunk. There's no in between because he blatantly ran that red light. So I almost spun out just fucking like trying to make this left that I should have been able to make in, somewhat normal circumstances. But I mean, that's where I come from. I come from like almost dying on a Tuesday. That's what I'm used to. So this snowpocalypse shit was just like, oh, I could swing this probably. Maybe just wait for a day for it to clear up, and then yeah, I should be able to fucking leave here today. All right, cool. You look at me like I'm a fucking alien.
No, man. It's just, I remember in Portland, I'd seen snow here in Texas, but I'd never seen people drive in snow. Never been on the road, really.
You're right.
And literally, there was a city bus going up a hill, going, uh-oh. It starts to slide to the left, and I just kind of see like just one parked car right there. Like the only parked car on that street, and it just slowly hits it.
Oh my god, bro.
And you could tell that the driver was probably just like, oh.
My god. Oh shit, bro.
It was a slow motion accident, and it was fucking hilarious. Like nobody was hurt, but it was just like you saw it, and it was just cringe the entire time. Like no.
You know what's funny as shit, bro? Okay, so this happened maybe a month or two ago, and so I was trying to park. It actually happened that same day that I went busking with Sawyer. So I was like right off of South Congress over here, and I was trying to just like parallel park because there was no fucking parking. There's no fucking parking, and so I'm trying to like parallel park in here. I'm just trying to squeeze into this little fucking spot right here, right? And fucking I finally got myself in a nice little spot. I'm like getting my GPS all like figured out, I just like stop for a second. And I'm like, trying to back out and everything like that. And then I see this girl walking, right? And I'm like, wow, she's cute. And I just like rolled my window down like I'm about to say something, but I mean, knowing me, I probably wasn't. But she said something to me. She was like, "Hey, you're like right up on that car." Like you're like actually touching it. And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Thanks.
The window goes back up.
Turns bright red, fucking drives off. Yeah, no, fucking.
How'd your foot taste?
Oh yeah, no, I it tasted pretty fucking salty, man. If I do say so myself.
It's funny.
But so Justin runs the Weird Austin podcast, and if you have not listened to it yet, I highly advise that you listen to it because it's. I mean, the one thing I've always admired about you is like your ability to stay consistent, specifically with podcasting. Because one thing that I've noticed is that it's not easy to find interesting guests, but for whatever reason, you have a knack for being able to like converse with like highly intellectually stimulating people. So there you go. That's everything
Thank you, man. I
we're
appreciate
working
that.
on. Did you want to invite people to the public reception? I'm kidding.
No, but yeah, it's the Weird Austin podcast. Speaking to consistency, I think anybody can clearly see my dates posted are pretty far apart. So I'm at least trying to be more consistent now that we actually have the condo back in order and everything.
No,
I mean, because that freeze did mess up the place quite a bit.
absolutely.
But back in the swing of things, and that's why I kind of wanted to kick off my podcasting, starting with yours. So
Well, I
yeah,
mean, fucking, in my opinion, the way that I think is just like the more the merrier. So, fucking, like, I mean, even if we were to just do like a regular podcast just between the two of us, if we could find one more person to throw in there, like that isn't regular, that is just kind of, guesting it, trying to fucking, promote a little something that they're doing. I mean, I'm kind of starting to come into contact with a lot more musicians now that COVID is over,
that's
and
good.
especially through Sawyer because he's like, I mean, he's a like everybody wants to work with brass instruments. You know what I mean? Like we all have, like all of us have respect for it. It takes a certain level of like music theory and constant years and years and years and years of preparation that I couldn't subject myself to.
Your lips fucking hurt.
I
After a while.
know, dude. Like,
But like in the same thing with the guitars, man. I mean, you gotta callus up those fucking fingers, bro.
feel my calluses, bro.
I mean, you're like 99% callus.
Yeah, and I mean, especially because I play bass too, so these fingers,
Oh, you
like
slap the
you
bass,
can
yeah.
feel it less on these, but I'm starting to use these last two fingers to do like more triplet work.
Yeah.
So, on that one song that I'm gonna show you before you leave, on the bass line I have this kind of part where it's like a triplet. So it's like because it just lines up with the drum track, like completely, just like perfectly, just using that. But that's like a weird movement right there, to be honest with you. It's like I've developed like mild.
Most of playing guitar is a weird movement to me, my man.
Well, I mean, see, the thing is like I've done so much with my hands since like from a very young age, so I've developed like mild arthritis
Yeah.
that I feel like on a daily basis. So I mean, it just kind of goes to say that like this movement right here. I mean, I know that nobody listening can hear, but this is just for you. This movement right here is a little weird, and it's not exactly ergonomic, and especially after this skate fall right here,
Right.
like it definitely kind of puts a bit of a cap on my capabilities as a guitar player. So that's kind of why I kind of try to step back and focus more on like things from like a compositional standpoint for the most part.
I mean, just take solace in the fact that you're literally manipulating things with your little meat antennas, and you're making sound waves sound amazing. So
Meat antennas. Dude, I think the coolest thing about being a musician, a musician who actually like is putting something together and like putting an entire picture together, is the best thing about it is the fact that you can call yourself a sonic architect, because when you're working with mastering, you're working with the depth of it, and you're listening to your shit until it beats your fucking brain into rice. It's like, I mean, that is kind of the game, and then you got to take time away from it so you don't desensitize yourself, and then
Yep.
you got to go right back to it and finish it.
Kendrick was talking about that, how he's just like, they're like, listen to your stuff. He's like, fuck no. He's like, I've heard it enough.
Straight up.
So I get that, man.
I mean, sometimes like I mean, I'll listen to my stuff here and there on like Spotify because I'm trying to get that fraction of a cent. But I mean, for the most part, I like once I've released it,
You're
I'm pretty
pumping
much
your own views.
I'm just
No,
Little.
dude. I listen to myself too, and especially at Walgreens. I would have an earbud in, and this dude's like, "Yo, who you jamming to?" And I'm like, "Me."
Well, I mean, like if that's the case, if I was in those shoes, I'd be like, oh, I'm just working on a mix, you know. So
Yeah.
it's me, but you know what I mean. Even if it was something I was
I
listening to on
enjoy hearing
Spotify.
myself.
I
I
mean,
don't mind that.
honestly, I wouldn't make it if I didn't think like if I didn't
Because I
bump
make mostly
fuck with it.
instrumentals, so it's stuff I can just throw on whenever I'm feeling in a mood. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely, man.
And that's just to speak to being an artist, man. Like that's the one thing that I liked about it is like there's plenty of songs that I made just for me, and if like y'all like them too, cool. But I fucking just listen to myself anyway.
You know, I've always wanted to have you on like at least a verse or two on one of my songs, man.
I'd be happy to do
I'm
that anytime.
I'm gonna edit you. I'm gonna add you to the Google Drive thing for Haven Sweet Haven, and I'll throw like basically there's a couple of songs on there that I want you to listen to specifically. You can listen to it all as I put it out, you know, because there's a couple of other people instrumentalists that I'm trying to have play these songs either live or if it's the people who are featured on them whose like main musical idea it stems from them kind of thing. So like Walking Silhouettes and April Showers, which you'll I mean everybody will know about it when they find out about it. But um you know basically I'll just have you listen to whatever you want. You'll have access to all of it, but
Cool.
specifically I have like 3 songs I want you to take a listen to
Absolutely.
and see if you can throw some fucking
I'm always down to help you connect with people, with a project. You know me, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm happy to be your first guest here. Honored.
Yes.
And I hope I can come back at some point in the future.
No, bro, sorry. You only
One
get
time,
everybody
one
get
and done,
everybody
right?
gets one.
What are you, Spider-Man from Family Guy?
Exactly. Yes,
Everybody
I am.
gets one. Well, again, that's Weird Austin Podcast, and you can also follow me at Instagram at Dog Productions. That's DOGPRODUCTIONS.
All right. This has been the first and very first episode of the PunkBordello podcast. So, everybody, until next time, this is me wobbling.